Today, learn how to turn yourself into vector art with today's Satori Graphics Adobe Illustrator tutorial. What is up, people? Welcome back to Satori Graphics, the home of graphic design content, right here on YouTube. Today, a super cool but super simple tutorial on how to turn yourself into vector art using Photoshop and Adobe Illustrator. So follow along and turn yourself into vector art today with Satori Graphics. So we're going to start working in Photoshop for this tutorial on how to turn yourself into vector art, and then we're going to move over to Illustrator later. So in Photoshop, open up your image, and it's best to get quite a high quality crisp image with as much of a white backdrop as possible. Open the layers window and then double click the layer to unlock it. You will now need to take the quick selection tool as you want to cut out yourself from the image. You need to click and drag along the areas that you want to select and cut out. You can also hold down the Alt Option key and click over the areas that you don't want to select if you end up selecting them. I would use quite a low size for the quick selection tool, somewhere around 3 to 5. So when you have a selection around yourself like I do here, go ahead and make a new document, and the size doesn't matter too much. Then with the selection tool, click and drag the selection onto the new document. We want a totally white background for this vector art effect, so press Command or Control T to resize and position yourself onto the artboard. From here, you can take the eraser tool with quite a soft brush and go around the edges, carefully feathering them with the semi-low opacity. In Photoshop, it's always a good idea to duplicate your layer, so if you do mess up big time, you always have a backup layer to go back to. So on my semi-ginger beard, I'm going to quickly show you some feathering. You want to take your time doing this to get a smooth and refined edge of yourself. So when you've done that, go up to Image, Appearance and Hue and Saturation. You want to totally desaturate the image so it's black and white. Then, in the Layers window, locate the Levels window and play around with the settings. You want to make the image have quite a strong contrast between black and white, and make the overall image itself a bit dark. We then need to play around with the threshold settings for a vector art effect in today's tutorial. So again, play around with the settings here and take your time until your image fits your taste. We have one more thing to do in Photoshop, and then we're going to move over to Illustrator to complete this vector art yourself tutorial. Go up to Layers and then flatten your image, and then in the Effects panel, add a color overlay. Choose the color that you want to use, and set the blend mode to normal and lower the opacity. You will notice that there are two shades of the same color, and this is what you want for today's tutorial. Lastly, save the image as a JPEG and then open up in Illustrator. So now here we are in Adobe Illustrator for this vector art tutorial. Go ahead and open up the image trace window with the image selected. This will take a lot of adjusting and time, but make sure you click color at the top and choose 2 colors. Then click preview and play around with your image trace settings until you're happy. Here you can see my final settings for my vector art design. When you're happy, go up to Object, Image Trace and Expand. Use the eyedropper tool to select the colours, and you can then take the rectangle tool and sample those colours to refer back to later at any stage in your design. You can also ungroup everything if you want to, but it's not necessary. For the final part of this vector art tutorial, you will need some vectors. You can head over to my vectors linked in the top right corner of the screen, or you can find some other vectors you want online. There are bound to be some free vectors out there if you look on Google. But the idea is to choose a vector, copy it with Command or Control C, and then paste it onto your design with Command or Control V. You just need to get creative with your layout and see what you can come up with. I spent quite a bit of time on vector art design, but ideally I would have liked to spend a lot more time doing it. But you can of course take your time to get creative with turning yourself into vector art. So there is today's tutorial on how to turn yourself into vector art in easy to follow steps using Adobe Illustrator and Adobe Photoshop. Let me know what you guys thought of today's video in the comment section below, and don't forget to leave a like on the video if you did enjoy it. Also, share my content on social media if you do find it useful, and give Satori Graphics a subscribe if you haven't done already. It's Friday, and so I hope you guys kick your weekend off to a great start, and that you will come back again on Monday for more graphic design content next week. So, until next time, design your future today. Peace.